where we share ideas and recipes on how you can stay healthy naturally. Let me share it first. So you are welcome to my healthy food. So you are welcome to my healthy food place where we share ideas and recipes on how you can stay healthy naturally. So here we continue with our subject on the table, on the healthy habits that has helped me from January to December and all through the years. Now, it is difficult to believe, but it is true, that someone who was treating malaria, typhoid, and all those stuff, suddenly is now enjoying a healthy body from January to December without any form of antibiotics. I mean, over-the-counter medications like antibiotics, trying to treat malaria, trying to treat typhoid. And so if you are someone that has been dealing with this twin disease, you need to also be here to learn some of these habits, because habits are learned. These habits I began to share in the first clip of this outing, are habits I learned over the years, mostly because of my health, because our health comes first. And so I was talking about the habit of listening to my body. Now, if you are not able to do it, it's something you can learn. How do you learn it? Knowing what exactly your body needs each point in time is very, very crucial, because that is all. Because our body can heal itself. You are welcome to the house. I think I need to wait a little bit for some of you that are connecting to me. Please join me immediately so that we can go on with the live. Join the live so that we can continue. Yes, you are welcome. You are welcome to the house. You are welcome. So we need more people to join so that we can go. I can see 3 of you now. And so 3 people are already there, so I need more people to join. And so, talking on healthy habits, listening to your body is the second one. The third one we are talking about, I think. Can't you think we've lost this thing? But the first one was actually water therapy. I think this is the second one, talking about the listening to your body. You know, before all these Western equipments, going to the laboratory and all of that, all the things we're using today to support our body, to support our health, to check our blood pressure, to check our blood sugar, to check a lot of things, to check bacteria. Before these things came, before scientists brought them about, we have been living. People have been living, and most times they are surviving with that art of listening to the body, knowing what the body says. And so it's been helping me a lot. So each time I listen, when I eat a new food, I listen to how I feel about it. When I wake up in the midnight, I try to sense what my body is trying to say. Why, if I'm not able to go to bed, I try to know what exactly the body is trying to say. And by that, I may decide the next course of action, and then be able to supply the body what it is looking for, because that is the secret. That is the secret. So you should keep coming online. That is the secret. Giving the body what it is looking for. Each point in time is one of the top, my top wellness secret. Then the next one is cooking my meals myself. I said that one before, but it's one of the very good healthy habits that's helping me. And why am I doing this? Cooking my meals myself helps me know what goes into that food, what goes into that food I'm cooking. Helps me to control and to monitor what is inside that meal, not just asking people to prepare it for me. Because when you ask people to do it, they can add other things, bouillon cubes, artificial taste enhancers, and all this stuff. They can add it so as to make it taste very good, but may not actually be healthy. Sometimes the foods prepared are quite inflammatory, but those that prepared it may not know. But when you, especially older adults, when you take it, you notice that the food, your body is not going well with you. And so that is one of the reasons, one of the secrets why I like to prepare my own food myself, using only natural ingredients. That takes us to the next one, to the next habit. I do not use bouillon cubes. I do not use artificial taste enhancers. I do not use all those things that sweetens, brings out the taste. I mean, you try to sweeten the food. I don't use any of those. I use only natural ingredients like sea salt, cinnamon, turmeric, ginger, garlic. I use real oil, not oils with trans fats. I do not use all of that. And the next habit that is also helping me is checking those things I put on my skin. Yes, the skin is the largest external organ, and it's because of this particular habit that I make my own bathing soap myself. I make my own body lotion, body cream myself, because most of the ones that we get from the market come with a lot of chemicals. And when these things go on top of the skin, it's going right into the bloodstream. A lot of you are not aware of it. So since I discovered this secret, I no longer buy body lotions, body creams. Of course, you will have noticed I do not put powder, this talcum powder and the rest. Before now, I normally put all of those powder, use a lot of body creams to make the skin come out very well. But I tell you, if you eat healthy, if you focus on what you are eating, just the way I'm doing, you may have little or no need for those body creams and body lotions. They don't do much, because I make my own using only natural ingredients. That's what I do. They help to reduce wrinkles. They help to reduce aging, and coupled with the fact that you're eating right. So I do not buy my own body creams. I don't buy bathing soaps. I make my own bathing soap myself. For me and my family, I make my own body lotions and body creams. I don't use any of those that come with too much chemicals and preservatives. They put a lot of those things. And when I make my own bathing soap, I make sure that it is usually cold pressed. Most of these soaps and beauty products, they normally cook them. That is, they are not cold pressed. And again, a good number of them don't even know what you mean when we talk about cold pressed. And that's why they ask a lot of questions. Say, what do you mean by cold pressed? So they can't even practice it because they don't know it. And so I make my own bathing soap, my own body lotions, and most of these beauty products, I make them because I know the effects. It can help with your blood pressure. I tell you, what you put on your skin is so important. And since I realized this, I no longer, including perfumes. Some things like perfumes will surprise you. Perfume can make you sick. Yes, you heard me. Perfume that you put on your armpit, a lot of you are not aware, can raise your blood pressure without you knowing. You can just put it on your armpit, and as you are inhaling it, the inflammatory nature and other chemicals there could be triggering a rise in your blood pressure without your knowing. And so you need to check all of these things, because these are some of the habits, some of the secrets. I stopped using all those body. If you want to use body perfume, not to say that it's wrong or it's bad to use it. Go for the best of it. Go for the original. Of course, we have those with essential oils. We have essential oils with fragrance. Yes, we have a lot of them. I know of jasmine essential oil. It's quite good. Even if you want to use it as a perfume or something to put on your armpit, it's also good. Once in a while I do. Even the rose essential oil is also good. I don't use any other perfume. If I want something with fragrance, I go for the real high quality volatile oil, essential oils, and use it on my armpit, because they don't come with toxic ingredients. They won't affect my health negatively. Rather, they will affect it positively. And so there are a lot of essential oils also that I'm using instead of using those ones. And not only do I use them in terms of, as in case anytime I feel I need a perfume, I use them also to prepare my body cream and body lotion. I'm talking of the essential oils. It's something that you will need closer education and monitoring, because they are not oil that you just dabble into. It took me many years to begin to gradually delve into the world of essential oils, because some of them are quite strong. They're not things you just start using without a guide. And so I continued studying about essential oils for a long time before I started to apply some of them that are a bit mild. There are some that are very, very strong. I have like essential, like the rosemary. They are quite also strong. There are so many of them, but there are those that are more gentle. Now, again, another secret that another healthy habit that I also try to incorporate on a daily basis is the habit of including raw foods, food that are not cooked. Anytime that my immune system is very, very low, I become more conscious of cooked food. I reduce my dependence on cooked food because they are harder to be absorbed. They are more difficult to be assimilated. And so I focus a little more deliberately on the raw foods. By raw foods, I mean food that are uncooked, food that have not passed through heat. And all the fruits are in that category. All the fruits, some raw veggies, garlic, onions, ginger, turmeric, a lot of them, anti-inflammatory spices, some raw veggies, cabbage, carrots, a lot of them. But the point, what brings them together is the fact that they are uncooked. When you take them moderately, the body understands them better, and they can build up your immune system and help you take back your health each time the health is, threatened. The same thing is what I do. That is one of the habits. I try to incorporate them, because staying for a whole 3-4 days without any raw food affects my health, and I know it affects a lot of you, but you are not aware. Some of you are not aware. You just eat whatever comes your way. Then the next habit again is making dietary changes from time to time. Now, it is not okay to just stick on one particular food. Every food is unique. All the natural foods are good, are healthy, but once you focus on a particular one, it's going to show off an ugly side. And being aware of this, I try as much as possible to bring in slight, trying to make changes. Let me put it that way. Making changes from time to time. Once in a while, you change. If for instance, you are consuming corn Let me use corn as an example. It's a source of fiber. There was a time I was actually avoiding corn for a very long time. And I was actually missing out because we know some of these traditional foods, we love it. We love them. We are raised with them and we love to eat them. So I was actually avoiding corn because of blood sugar. It has a tendency to raise blood sugar. Not as if I'm a diabetic, but just being mindful of insulin resistance and all those stuff. Because once you attain certain age, you need to be more mindful. When you are in your 55, 60s, you need to be mindful. You are welcome. You need to be mindful of all those things. Blood sugar, your blood pressure. You must be mindful of them because you don't have to just live your life like that. There's nothing fating it or whatever. Once you attain certain age, you need to be conscious and mindful. And as a matter of fact, you may need to buy some of the equipment. I have them as a matter of fact. I don't have issue with blood pressure, but anytime I don't take care, my blood sugar is likely to rise if I eat anyhow. But even recently, it's not even rising. Yes, that's why I tell us that there's no disease that is not reversible with a healthy lifestyle and making good food choices. So I actually was consuming some of the breakfast, regular breakfast we normally take, like bread. At a point, I said, okay, let me go to cracker biscuits. Because we always be looking for something that we think is light. It's one of the habits I stopped. It was the last thing I stopped last year. As a matter of fact, it was very hard for me to stop that habit of eating biscuits, small cracker. Because we used to think some of them are light. Yes, they may be light when you look at them, but I tell you, they are highly acidic. Bread, white bread, very bad though. Very, very bad. I'll tell you the truth. It is the last enemy to be destroyed. The last habit that I dropped. Because I loved it. I used to, those of us that were civil servants were used to making teas in the office, taking tea and all of that. So it's difficult for you to now come to realize that you can't take those things, some of them, not because you can't afford them, but because you need to preserve your health. And so I used to take it, I tried to minimize it, take it, reduce it, all because I wanted to retain some of these foods. But my dear, I'm happy to report that I finally dropped that habit of those stuff because they were creating acids. And the funny thing about the acids is that when acids are being created in our body, including myself, is what happens to me. You won't know because it's being created little by little. It's not something that just happened overnight. It's just like you're trying to cement a place. You are putting cement gradually. That's how the acids are. I'm just giving you an imagination of what when we talk of acidic and alkaline. It's just layers. It's just laying up gradually. So some people, when you tell them that a particular food is acidic, like food like white pap. I met a diabetic woman who couldn't steal, even though she was already on medication. I'm not on medication for anything like blood sugar or blood pressure or whatever. But that's not to say that if somebody is on medication, you should quickly throw away your medication. I don't say that. You need to continue to make positive effort to ensure that you gradually recover your health. But it's difficult for some people to believe that certain foods are acidic. I tell you. But we need to be very, very, keep your minds open for knowledge. Because knowledge can set you free. Yes, I met that woman. She was already on medication. When I told her a few things, a few of the foods that are making things worse, they were actually the food that she loves so much. and she said it's not true. I told her that oils like cold pressed coconut oil can help with insulin resistance. She was arguing, trying to engage me in argument, but I said, no, my dear, it's not so. So she preferred to take white pap, which is not only contributing to the blood sugar not being controlled, but because of lack of knowledge, she was still taking it while taking medication. And so, like in my own case, once I get that knowledge that so thing is like this, I will listen to my body first and try to know. Sometimes you can't believe that when I take food that is inflammatory, I know. I don't know why my own body is like that. When I take foods that are good, I mean food that are alkaline, I tend to know. Food that are high in B complex, I tend to know. When my heart, for instance, sometimes my heart needs certain foods. Like recently, I was away from unripe plantain, that's green plantain. Green plantain it has its own good and ugly side, but it's good for you and I to know exactly the point when your body says, take a break. That is exactly what we're saying. We must be able to know when our body says, take a break. It's one of the very healthy carbohydrates that is good for our heart. Very rare one for our heart. So I occasionally know when my heart needs it, and I go for it. Yes, I go for the green plantain because it supports your heart health. So being able to know the body, what my body is saying, and providing it is one of my very healthy habits. And then making dietary changes from time to time, not sticking to one particular food, is also another one. And then another habit that I have also imbibed is trying to take more of fats for energy, healthy fats. Yes, healthy fats. Because the challenge of most older people is, so what should we be eating for energy? Yes, I was faced with that at a point in time until I realized that the real and quality energy that older adults need is those ones that come from healthy fats, naturally occurring fats, because they cannot feed disease like blood sugar, diseases like blood pressure, diseases like bacteria. They cannot feed on healthy fats like coconut oil, healthy fats like avocados. They can't feed on healthy fats like almonds. They can't feed on healthy fats like olive oil. They can't feed on them. You can't feed them with oil. And so I agree and believe that it's better to starve the disease to death. Yes, because we can starve a disease through what we eat, and we can also feed the disease. Because anytime I overdo certain things, because once in a while I go overboard, like many of you are doing. We are guilty of it. There are certain foods that we love, so when we see it, we tend to overdo it. So when it happens, that's another of my habits. I go for food that will counter that food in order to take out the excess. I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. Sometimes I take peanuts, and because peanut is sweet, it's something that tastes, the organic peanuts, it tastes good. Whether it's peanut butter, but anything from peanut, even the crunchy peanut snacks, they all taste good, but I tell you, it's acidic. Among the nuts that I know, it's the most acidic one, and it's still the one that is highest in protein. And so taking out, I've heard some people say they've been advised not to take it. So where do you get the protein, enough protein from? Is it from meat? Yes. Some people say they consume a lot of meat, is good for them. Yes, no problem, as long as your body is not speaking otherwise. And so when I take things like peanuts, I go for cucumbers. Yes. Yes, thank you for that comment. Thank you for that comment. So when I take certain things like peanuts in excess, I normally go for alkalining foods like cucumbers in order to help the body, to restore the body to its balance. Because what happens a good number of times, which I am aware of, which is one of my habits, is when symptoms begin to show up, I try to regain my balance. I know I lost it somewhere. I have to restore it by bringing again some of the things I left out because of negligence. Because sometimes when all is fine and going well, we tend to neglect. I am a victim of it. Neglect some of the things. Some of the foods that are helping us stay healthy. We tend to leave them off for some time and then enjoying ourselves with our sweet delicacies. Yes, and start enjoying with our sweet delicacies. By the time you are enjoying it and continue, over time, they begin to show off. And so what I normally do is trying to take the alkalining food in order to destroy the acids. Yes, I did a short video on it on my page. Trying to remove acid is very easy. So when I have excess acid in my body, I think God just gave me that grace. And because I also know where the acid came from. Yes, I know the food I ate that brought it about. And that's why we should not just eat. We should be careful what we are eating. Because that is just the origin of every disease, what you take in your mouth. And so once I see that this is what I have eaten, these are some of my habits, I withdraw from it. And I mean temporarily, not permanently. Because some people tend to say they have withdrawn permanently. And I do caution them that don't stay away for too long. If it's a healthy food, if it's a natural food. So when I withdraw for some time, the body will be able to clear the backlog, my body. And so once that backlog is cleared, I return again to start to consume that food because I know its health benefits. I know the way it's benefiting my health. Now, some of you may ask, am I saying that I don't ever get sick? Or I will share one particular experience with us that happened this year. And it was the highest this year. And it forced me for a very long time, after so many years, it forced me to take 1 dose of analgesic. And that's why I often encourage us that anytime you're in pain, seek medical assistance. I said it, and that's what I teach all my followers. Don't say you are testing out a particular herbal recipe or you're testing out a particular maybe remedy you read online. I see people come and comment online saying so thing is wrong with them, so thing is wrong with their child. If you are in pain, seek medical attention. That is exactly my position. You go and get help. When you are okay, when you are feeling better, then you can start to do those healthy things we're talking about. Because the scientists and all these medical benefits, that's its own place. And so sometimes this year, for instance, it's good I share it because I'm not a spirit that with all the stress around, I say that I never had any little challenge. I do, once in a while. And so I actually had one stressful experience. It's usually emanate from stress. And I am someone that didn't know before now. I engage in a lot of stressful activities. But the older we get, the more we should be mindful of stress. And it's a habit I'm learning to, it's a new habit I'm learning. You can learn a good habit. If you see a good habit, my dear, learn it. You can learn it. I'm trying to learn to manage stress. Because one of the biggest challenge I had this year emanated from stress. Yes, I actually went out the whole day after all the stuff here and there, come back, and then do you know what? It was getting late for dinner. I looked at the time. I have not had anything since morning. And I tell you, nothing will happen even if I didn't eat till the next morning. But we don't always, I don't know, we normally just have that urge that I want to take something. Nothing will happen. But guess what? After all those stuff, I came back, it was late, and I was just like, it's getting too late for dinner. Let me have something. Yes, I did. But the next morning I woke up with a very painful swelling. I made a video with it. Yes, because when the swelling came, it was very painful. It was oats I ate and one other food. It was oats. So it was oats I ate that evening, that night, before going to bed with something else. And that's why I always tell us that oat is good, but it's mildly inflammatory. So I came back and then prepared it. I said, I don't want oily stuff. I don't want something that have oil. People have well gone to bed without anything. Now, there's something else I want to share out of this, because when something happens to me, health-wise, I learn from it. It takes me to another level. So now, what I also learned from that swelling, I will tell you how I came out of it. This year, it was so painful. I mean, when I say something, it was really, really painful. For the first time, after more than 16 years, I was forced to take one dose of analgesic. When I'm talking of analgesic, I mean, when you say something is a medicine, it's a pain reliever, just one dose. The pain was much. Was there? I think it made me to know what people are going through. Those who are going through arthritis, painful things, and all of that. It reminded me of what they are going through. So there's no part of the body that deserves to be sick. We should all just be moving on. And so after having my oats, I went to bed. It wasn't long I went to bed. I didn't really have more. But because the body was tired. My body was, I mean, when I say tired, don't eat when you are tired, though, my dear. Especially older adults. If you're in your 60s, please don't eat when you are tired. It's a big risk. No, I have learned from an experience. It triggered a very big inflammation that forced me for the first time that many years. Talking of, I don't take paracetamol. When you say analgesic, I don't. But that pain made me, for the first time, I was given a whole sachet. You know the way they come, 2. But I took only one dose. It was something to remember. It's something to remember. The rest, I kept them. After that one dose, the other settled. The thing started coming down. There is a video on it. There's a video on my page. You can go watch it. Inflammations. Under that playlist, inflammations. That's where I put it. Because it's something that I will not forget in a hurry. That pain, I will not forget it in a hurry. Because when I woke up, it was aching me around the gum. So aching me, the whole place red. I was feeling so horrible. I was almost crying. You know what I mean? When I say I was almost crying, the pain was severe. I had to go and seek for help. So don't be ashamed or feel that you cannot be so perfect. And that's why I said when I came here that I give glory to God that I'm alive today. Some people, it can happen, they may not make it. Yes. Don't eat, I repeat, when you are stressed. Because that's what I did that night. This year, 2024. I learned it. It was actually, I won't date, I took note of that date too. The morning that the thing was so hard, 1st of August. It was so painful. That was 1st of August. I remember everything that happened because I said, God, you need to see me through out of this. I can't. So eventually, I began to take all these, spices and the rest of it, managing it. After that one dose, I began to use. It wasn't as if it was the one dose that melted the inflammation, ended the pain, but that one dose of that analgesic did a lot. Honestly, I remain grateful to God for the life of all those scientists that are producing all those things. So it took me out of that very painful state of that thing. It took me out of it immediately. Within 1 hour, it stopped it. That aching was stretching down to the heart, the back, all over. It stopped it. So it was when it had stopped, it had lowered. I can now see myself that I remember that I could take turmeric and ginger and all this stuff. I remember I began to go for my, all my whatever therapies and whatever. But I tell you, when the pain was much, I was thinking only of heaven. I didn't know that pain could be so severe, just suddenly like that. So that was a lesson to be learned. And so one of the habits I've learned from that experience, which I'm also sharing, is as much as possible when you are stressed, if you can avoid eating solid food, avoid it. That's what I learned. It doesn't matter how late. Now, talking about late food, what actually drove me to trying to meet up with eating and landing into trouble was that I was feeling that it's getting too late. There's nothing like too late. If you rest till morning and you didn't feel like waking up, you didn't feel like eating anything, nothing will happen. But if you woke up at any point, like in my case, and your body is so light, so hungry, there's nothing also wrong. If you find something, just be mindful of what you eat, something to just keep you. It doesn't have to be all those sticky food or stuff. Just something that can just help you, or your blood sugar, little to keep you till dawn. There's nothing wrong with that. That is just the lesson I learned from that. So as much as possible, I try to reduce the urge to eat when stressed, because managing stress is something that I'm not too good at. I'm always into trying to do this. So I learned from it. So anytime the stress comes, I try to stop it. And after that, I try also not to eat main food. Can take drinks. Can take, there are some drinks that are very low in calorie that I can normally take to allow the body to relax, to allow the body to rest, because digestion food is a huge task. But many times, many of us are not aware, and that's why we just keep eating and eating. We just eat. We don't bother about how the food is going to be digested. And so that was what taught me that experience, and I don't ever want to have it again. So the other habit that I also try to, which I have also learned, is not skipping the breakfast. Not skipping breakfast. I showed us the breakfast this morning as I was coming. There's no specific time for my breakfast, depending on when I wake up. I woke up 6:05 this morning. And so after 3 to 4 hours, the body should be of being active. The body should be, getting ready to have something. That is exactly what I mean by breakfast. And having something is usually after the water therapy, then after taking the after taking the water therapy and then some dash of lemon juice in it. That is about it. And there is another habit which I also, and that is trying to monitor my sugar through what I take. Why am I saying this? A good number of us, when you have attained certain age, 50, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65 and above, something is already knocking on your door. There's no gainsaying. Something is knocking in form of, ailment or whatever. If it's not blood sugar, it's diabetes. If it's not, it's blood pressure or something. And so that is even why the stress management is important. I'm learning it, and I'm trying to cope with trying to manage stress, because when you don't manage, I don't get that. So when you don't manage stress, it makes every other ailment worse. It makes all the diseases worse. Whatever thing you're trying to manage, whether you're trying to manage your blood sugar or blood pressure, whether it's arthritis or stomach ulcer, if you don't manage your stress level, it's going to make everything worse. It doesn't matter what medications you are taking. As a matter of fact, the more you take medication with stress, the worse it gets. Taking medication and think you can use medication to pay, and then be running around and not giving yourself time to rest well. And I also pray that those of us who have attained certain age, God will make provision for us so that we will not be hustling. When I mean hustling, when you are trying to get what to eat as a result of the effort you are making on a daily basis. That's my own interpretation of hustling. It's not good for older adults. God should help us so that we should be comfortable enough to have that time to do things when we want to, not that we're under pressure to do it. And not that you must, if you don't do it, you won't have money to eat today or tomorrow. When we are getting to that age, may God help us so that we will not be at that point of struggling and that point of hustling. It's not good for older adults because of the fact that it makes everything worse. When you are struggling, it makes everything worse. If it's pain or whatever, it's going to be getting worse. If it's blood sugar, it's going to increase. Stress makes everything worse. Some people are not good at managing stress. And if you are one of such persons and you are getting to 50, 55, 60, you need to learn to take a break, like midday, to go rest. Even if you can't sleep in the afternoon like myself, you can just lie down and close your eyes and give your eyes some break. Try to close your mind and meditate. It helps, whether you are in a sleep state or not, but the body is kept in a restful position, a resting position, so that you don't make something worse for you, because there is always a disease at the door of all the older adults. There's always a disease that is waiting to come in if given the chance. And one of the things that can give any disease chance is stress. Imbalance in our nutrition, poor nutrition, can open the door for any disease, including, overindulgence. That is sometimes also things like acidity. So I will also talk about that. When you allow too much acids to what you take, I try to also monitor that. It's going to open door for other diseases, especially the one that is already at your door. No, you wonder why some people are managing high blood pressure, why some people are managing high blood sugar at the same time. It's because there is a link between all of these? Inflammations. So you need to understand how all of these things work so that you will not allow either stress, poor nutrition, or any of those things to open door to any of these diseases, depending on which one is knocking on your door. Now, there is another habit that I also try to, I have learned over the years, and that is the habit of reading labels. I read labels of anything I want to buy. A lot of people don't read labels. It's a habit I developed. Why? Because I want to see what is inside it. Sometimes they've added gluten, they've added this, added that. Some of those things are not acceptable. Yes. When I want to buy milk, for instance, I check, is it non-dairy creamer? I don't go for it. If I want milk, I go for milk. If I want full cream, I go for full cream. As a matter of fact, I tell you the truth. I was avoiding milk. I'm not saying you should take it, but it's part of the dietary changes, modifications that I make, which is part of my healthy habit. Now, I was avoiding it for a very long time. And because we don't have some other herbs like ginkgo, biloba, and other, there are several herbs in various countries that people are using to, to support their health. But in some regions, those things are not there or they are expensive. Now, if you are living where we are, in this region, for instance, and you cannot have access to some of those herbs, and you cannot eat foods that can nourish you very well, you need to consider adding some of the foods that you hear online that they say is very bad. They said a lot about milk. Milk is this, milk is horrible, milk is acidic. I agree all of that. Inflammatory. I tell you the truth, once in a while, I add a little milk to my food. Yes, it may not be your way, but that's my way. It may be that in future, I may have to totally drop it if I see alternatives. But for now, once in a while, because it's a brain food, because I know it supports the brain. I know it has a lot of vitamins and minerals. I know it's complete in terms of amino acids. I know that it has nutrients to support the thyroid too, the thyroid function. And so, because of all of this, I do not stay away from food that are called naturally. Milk is gotten from, milk from cows. A lot of people are saying a lot of things about it. But I also know that when taken in moderation, occasionally, it's not something that I'm avoiding, because I made the mistake of avoiding certain foods over a long time because of what I heard, because of what I learned from someone either online or social media, and then just carry it like the way it is and started trying to practice it, only to find out that it doesn't go well with my own. It doesn't go well with me. Only to find out that it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. It's not working for me. That is the point. To find out that it's not working for me. And so it's always good to find out whether it's working for you. If it's not working for you, you don't have to force yourself to start taking it or start practicing that habit. Yes, and you don't have any excuse. Now there is another habit that I have, and that is cooking fresh food every day. As long as I have made up my mind to take food as my medicine, I try to cook live foods. Now, when you talk of live foods, some foods are dead. If you are someone that like to cook large quantity of food and stock in your refrigerator like I usually do before, and then conveniently, it's okay. As a convenient life, it's okay. But then, if you are trying to heal, if you're battling with any ailment, like I did several years ago, if you're trying to take back your health, my dear, those foods are dead. And they cannot heal because there are the nutrients. You've cooked and cooked and cooked it to the dead point. And so what I do, one of the habits I do, is a difficult one, but I'm used to it. Because when you get used to a particular habit, though someone else may be looking at it as, how is she coping? But I'm coping because it has to do with my life. I'm coping because it has to do with my health. Coping to cook every food fresh, with fresh ingredients. That's the secret. It's one of the secrets of my wellness. Yes, and it's not even cheap. Neither do I say it's not even cheap. It's not expensive, it's not cheap. It's just a way of life that I have chosen it. So even when those ingredients are expensive, I still go for them. Cooking live food is one of my secrets. And what do I mean by that? I'll explain. Now, even if I'm compelled to use any food that is already refrigerated or kept in the fridge, there is need always to put life into it by adding things like fresh onions, fresh garlic, fresh turmeric, ginger, spices to spice it up. You can add cinnamon, you can add all this stuff. Even if you have fresh vegetables, you can add to it. Yes, you can add to it. That's what I do. Because these things are the things that the body uses to heal. The body needs to heal us, to heal me. So I don't have to, be looking at it as if it's expensive. No. I just cook my meals myself. That's a habit. No, but another habit is I don't use artificial taste enhancers. I don't use bouillon cubes to bring out the taste of my meals. And yet it tastes great. They taste great. Then the third one is live food on a daily basis. The food has to be live. It has to have life. Even if it's an old soup or an old stew that I want to take, I have to add fresh onions, fresh garlic, fresh turmeric, fresh cayenne pepper. Just name it. If there's fresh vegetable, I go ahead and add it, because it is this fresh ingredients that my body uses to repair and to build my body. It's not those ones that are already cooked and stored in the refrigerator. Yes, there are some foods like stews that when you keep them in the refrigerator, it doesn't really spoil, like tomatoes. Tomatoes is not often affected by maybe much warming or much, but there are foods like turmeric, like onions, like green vegetables, like garlic, that you need to add them fresh. And when I add those fresh things into that soup, by the time I'm eating it, I see sweat, small sparkles of sweat. These are mild form of detox. Now, some of you don't mind about sweating. If you are not sweating, it's bad. I did a video again on it. So when I'm eating those live food, small traces of sweating, perspiration, little coming out, it's a clear evidence to me that that food is going in well. Not when you are consuming a dead food, probably a cold one for that matter, which is even worse. And at the end of the day, for the body to assimilate, to digest, it becomes difficult. So I often try to make my food live. That's one of my habits. You can also steal it. Yes, it's one of the habits that I have developed. Then there is another habit being mindful of protein in my diet. Protein is the building block. Now, it is by this being mindful of protein on a daily basis in my diet that I came to realize that protein is so scarce. Honestly, you won't know how scarce protein is, especially in this part of the world where we are, until you become mindful, until you develop that habit of being mindful. You will now realize that protein is so scarce. Now, if you're trying to manage your blood sugar, have you realized that sometimes you look around the home, there's no protein. Even the oats, a lot of people are hyping on that oats. It's high in carbohydrates, my dear. Yes, it's high. Unless you add some nuts, unless you add some things like eggs, boiled egg, unless you add other things like soya beans, unless you add other things like chia seeds, unless you add other things to your oat like cocoa, bitter cocoa. Well, if you don't, my dear, don't deceive yourself. I heard people say, I drank cocoa oat, this and that. If you are diabetic, your blood sugar may still rise. So unless you pair it. So I'm mindful of protein in my diet every day because protein is the building block. It's one of the secrets. It's one of my secrets, my dear. Now, there is another secret, is including bacteria-fighting spices, including them on a regular basis. Now, the older you get, the more you realize that you should depend less on antibiotics in order to destroy bacteria. Why? Because if you destroy them, they will come back. Yes. You can't even destroy them in the first place. If you try to destroy them using over-the-counter medications, they will come back and become more aggressive. Now, if you are including, if you know that the bacteria are living with you, like I do know, then when I'm consuming anything, I have in mind to include foods that will help to reduce their number, like garlic. Garlic is one of the best and top ones. A lot of the foods that we talk about, like this morning, guess what I chewed this morning? I chewed cashew leaves. Cashew leaves. Cashew nuts, yes, you heard me. Fresh cashew leaves. Some of you are not aware that it can reduce the number of bacteria. I chewed it yesterday, I chewed it today. It's not only guava leaves that you can chew. It's not only soursop leaves you can boil and drink. It's not only avocado leaves you can boil and drink. It's not only avocado seeds you can take for diabetes. My dear, I take a lot of other herbs that can reduce the number, not to kill them, not outrightly eliminate them. That's not what I tried to do in the past, was trying to take antibiotics to destroy the bacteria. But now, I've not done that for more than a decade because it's a mission impossible. I use the spices, all these, spices here and there. Then you take anti-inflammatory spices, turmeric, because inflammation is always a forerunner to many of these diseases. So take them, ginger, you take them, cinnamon, take rosemary, use them to cook your meals. Black peppers, cayenne pepper, I use all of them. Sea salt, sometimes interchangeably, use curry leaves, use ephedrine leaves, a lot of little leaves use. I use on a daily basis. On a daily basis to reduce the bacterial activity in my body. Because if you don't, they are living with me. I'm aware of that. They are benefiting, and I'm benefiting also. It's a symbiotic relationship. I try to feed the healthy bacteria. I do not leave them out completely. Then, the next one is fermented foods. I don't leave it out. I was taking so much of it to help prevent stomach ulcer, heal stomach ulcer, but over the years too, I got to learn that too much of the fermented grains is also not good. So I reduced it. But my dear, there are times when I need it. I know when I need fermented grains, and I go for it. Fermented foods, yes, you heard me. If you have not been taking foods that are fermented, like millet, using for pap, maybe why stomach ulcer is troubling you. Low-calorie vegetables like cabbage to help reduce excess body weight, to help reduce acidity, to help heal stomach ulcers, to help provide with vitamin K. Once in a while, mark the word, once in a while. Carrots for the eyes, for the skin too. So being mindful of these foods is part of my habit, including fermented grains once in a while. Now, just recently, I was avoiding all the gluten stuff because gluten actually is not good for us. We must admit that fact. You know, this gluten is found in wheat in very high amount, but there are traces of it in almost all the grains. Traces of gluten are there. And when we say gluten, honestly, the easiest way for me to explain it based on the way it behaves in the body is that the word glue must have been taken from it, must have been coined from it. When you take the gluten sources, it stays longer. It tends to stay glued for some time in the body. And so if you are not aware of how the gluten behaves, and you are now consuming that same food, that same grain, then that glue, the old one that was still there, the new one you ate will come and meet it. And if you eat it the third day, it goes and joins it. And the inflammation continues to rise. And remember that the gluten is inflammatory. And so if you continue to build on it, over time, health problems, health challenges continue to come up. But there is something also I did as a part of my habit, making dietary changes. I had to also bring in wheat, baked wheat bread, brown bread, you call it, once in a while, because of its magnesium content, because it's a source of energy, because it's rich in big group of vitamins. I'm talking of the wheat, the bread made with wheat. It's a source of it contains a big group of vitamins. And so when you are consuming foods that contain nutrients that you like, you want in your body, you should know that. And that's what I do. I returned with slightly, but each time I take it, I normally notice that trans fat in it. I don't know why it happens to me like that. But despite that, I still take it. I take huge crabs, so I can't get that very well. So I take when I take, I still feel, that trans fat there. Is it because I know what it is? I don't know. So when I take it, I feel that trans fat in it, and I feel that the way it behaves around the liver. It is the liver that is worse hurt when we take gluten-rich foods, like when we are taking too much of grains. It is the liver that where the inflammation is worse is the liver. And when we are saying a lot of people have fatty liver, you know, I have had so many people say they have fatty liver. I've had fatty liver before and successfully reversed it. Not because of alcohol, not because we know that alcohol is one of the main causes when they talk of fatty liver. But non-alcoholic fatty liver also can happen when we are taking most of these trans fats from foods like breads, baked bread with all these artificially manipulated fats. And that's what I said, when I take those wheat, I feel it there. But feeling it there doesn't even make me to stop. I should take it, but with that mind that I know that this thing is damaging. This thing is hurting. But I'm not going to take it for long. And that's why I said you should have that habit of, making dietary changes and modifications. Because some of the things you are eating, it could even be healthy. But after some time, it may start causing you, creating some hidden problems unknown to you. But if you do not make a dietary change and switch, your body won't have time to deal with that. There are very good foods that people eat, and some people have complained to me that this food is doing like this. I say yes. For how long have you been taking it? Some of them say, they have taken it for so long. I was like, wow. For that long? Because when you are taking it, if you don't change, your body is a living organism. Let me put it that way. Your body knows everything. So when you are bringing one particular food, that's what I try. It gets bored with it. People are talking of oats. Oats is good, but I've consumed oats to a point that it gave me problem. It gave me a real problem. I have to stay away for some time. But that after offloading the excess that was in the body, I returned it because it's good for managing high bad cholesterol. It has other benefits. It's a source of soluble and insoluble fiber. And so you can't say because it gave you problem at one point, or because it gave me problem at one point, then I'm going to take it out indefinitely. No, that's what I'm trying to say. I don't throw out any food out like that because it created one problem. No. After some time, I go back. That's what I do. It's one of the habits. I go back and take that food again. I give you an instance of one particular healthy spice that I used to run away for so many years, and that is cloves. Cloves is one of the top spices you should be taking to prevent things like cancer for older adults. I tell you the truth. It helps to reduce a lot body acidity, pains, inflammation, kill off parasites. It does so much. Those tiny cloves. But guess what? Several years, it raises blood sugar, so preventing things like diabetes also, toothaches and gum disease. So, but this is a food that it supports your liver. I'm telling you for sure. It's what I used it and felt it working. I don't know, other people may not know how it works, but I know, I feel it working. Thank you. You are welcome, my sister. So, the cloves you see, I was avoiding it for some time. For a long time, because of what? Stomach ulcer. After I recovered from ulcer a long time ago, I said, this food is too hot to, this clove is too hot for ulcer. I can't be taking it. But that is ignorance. I avoided it during that period. But it's not good to stay away from any particular good and healthy food for too long. After several years, I went and tried it again. And guess what? It was wonderful. It was great. It can even help you with sleep. If you have a sleep problem, after some years, go back and try that food. Because our body is changing. I've heard people say they were advised to stay away from social food, to stay away. Yes. I did all of that. But then, after some time, you will realize that some of the foods you were avoiding, it was because at that point in time, your body was not ready for it. Thank you, my sister. I appreciate that. Thank you. So it may be that because your body was not ready that time. So you felt your body don't need it. No, your body may not need it at that particular time. But at other times, go and try it. I gave you an example, an instance with the cloves. Cloves is like that, was like that to me. Until I realized lately that it's one of the best spices for older adults, helping you reduce body acidity, supporting your liver function. In case you don't know, I tell you, it's good for your liver, your blood sugar, digestive health. But you must take it in moderation. It has its own ugly side too, especially with women, when it comes to women issues. So one of the habits is not avoiding a particular food indefinitely. Because it hurt me, because I was hurt at one point, doesn't mean I should run away forever. I've told us my story about rice. Of course, several other foods. The only food I'm not eating yet like that is yam. But of course, I ate one recently, which I don't know, maybe there are species of it. Yes, we have species like the water yam and the rest of it. But my dear, I eat almost everything. It's one of my secrets. Before, some years back, I was saying, this food is spiking my sugar. This one is doing this. But I realized that by the time I stopped eating bread, biscuits, so what is left? After the body finished dealing with all those breads and biscuit stuff, the body was able to accept all those food that I was running away from. Papaya now, they're in season. If I start eating papaya, you won't believe it. I eat papaya like no man business. I don't know whether it's a species or I did a video on that some time ago. I think I did. I think I shared something about it, telling us, I don't know why. Stop running away from some foods because someone said it's not good for him or her, or because you ate it 2-3 years ago, it did one kind in your body. And so you now decide that never again. That's not good. It's one of the things I was doing in ignorance. So it may be that your body wasn't ready for it then or didn't need it. But that's not to say that you should stay away indefinitely from that particular food. You should find another time in future, after some years, as long as it's a natural food, you should take it, try it again. And again, there is something about my body. I don't know whether it applies to other people or I'm the only one. Now, if I take a particular food, for instance, and that food I didn't like it the way it is. If I keep repeating it, gradually, my body will begin to accept it. It's not like people who are smoking. When they taste small one, it be like say their body is shaking, their head is doing one kind. The next time they taste another small one, they do. The next time they will finish a whole cigarette. Another time you give them 2 cigarettes, they will finish it. That's how our body is. It's just like a living organism. You'll be training it. If you know a food that is good and you are not raised with it, you are not brought up with that kind of food. Like those of us, we are not brought up with food like salad. I learned to eat it too. I remember some years as a teenager. If you give me salad, you have spoiled my day. If you give me salad, I remember those days, years rather, when they visit some of our, well-to-do relations. They will just prepare salad and be enjoying it. I say, no, I don't want it. In fact, immediately I see the salad, my face and everything changes because I don't like it. But guess what? They will put all those salad cream that is so sour. I'll be wondering why, how on earth are human beings? Are they eating this? But later on, they started teaching me how to be eating it. You know, small, small. Today, the salad itself, I don't see to eat again because it's so expensive. I tell you, it's so delicious, it's so healthy. But these are the same food that I was learning to eat. And that's how our body is. So don't ever you train that body. If that food is good, start teaching your body. That's what I do. It's one of my habits. Start teaching it like you are teaching a small child to eat. Some of us, we were raised with swallow. You know what I mean swallow? Like you mold a bar or you mold something like fufu and you put it inside soup like this and you put it. When a child was just 7 months, 8 months, he's already giving that thing to swallow with soup. And he's looking at the mom and the dad as they're swallowing it. And he start doing it. That's why some of us, as we are, if we never take swallow, never talk anything, no. Nothing they happen safe. That swallow, now be the cocoa. Because that's the way we are raised, some of us. That's the way we are raised. So that thing that you know is a good habit, that food that you know is a healthy food, but it's not tasty. It was not in the, it was not among the foods that you learned how to eat while growing up. But you now grew up and found out that it's a good food, but not your cultural food. Start teaching your body. Make it learn as small, like you are teaching a young child to eat. After some time, your body will accept it. That is exactly what I'm saying. Your body will accept it. The first time you may take it, you may do one kind, you say, I don't know how this food is doing me. My body don't like it. Don't worry, your body like it. It's because your body is seeing it for the first time. Yes, because our body is a living something. It's sensible. I like to use the word that is smart. Yes, it's smart. You bring in something that it has never digested before, something that it has never eaten before, and by the time you put it, you say your body, your stomach is doing one kind, you don't know how it's doing you, blah, blah, blah. Tomorrow, if there is nothing in the house and it's only that food, take it small again and eat. They do me. The next day, after 3, 4, 5 days, you will be rushing for it because your body is already used to it. If you go to China now, they serve you some food, you eat it, maybe turning your stomach. It's not as if the food is bad, but because your body you don't understand the food self. That's it. Your body know the food may be very healthy, mix of everything, but your body know it doesn't know it. So all you will need to do is to be teaching it from time to time. As you get older, you continue to teach it the new lifestyle, the new foods that are healthy, and start dropping all those biscuits, bread, cakes, and all those unhealthy ones. Gradually, withdraw it. That's what I did. Withdraw it from your food. And after some time, your body will be craving for it. It will look like if you don't take it, you can't sleep. It was happening to me like that. Every night, biscuits, cracker, bread, all those acidic stuff. I later realized that it's not actually only you that is craving. It's the bacteria, it's the fungi that are also craving for those things. That's what I've come to realize. So after some time, When you eat finish, you start feeling you must drink it, you must take the cracker, you must do this, you must do this, as if you don't take it. At certain times, it's like if you don't take it, you can't go, you can't sleep. It's craving. Yes. If you are craving the wrong food, you have to stop it. That's what I'm trying to do. Now, that time when I'm craving for bread, instead of taking bread, you know what I take now? I keep fermented Ijebu garri around. And I'm happy that my body have finally accepted it. If not, because it's starch, both of them are starch, but the difference between the starch is that one carries trans fat, that is the bread. That one carries sodium too, that is the bread. That one carries preservative, that is the bread. Then the fermented Ijebu garri carries a little probiotic. It does not carry salt. It does not carry trans fats. It does not come with, even some garri, if it's the red one, I mean the yellow one, it carry oil again, which is calorie. But let's leave the yellow one. Let's talk of the white one now. Now, if it's the white one, which is what I normally take, I just take it like that and then put it in my mouth to stop that craving. Because that's the difference between the bread and the garri. I'm not saying garri is the healthiest food for you, because it's no good for our eyes. You see, garri is very bad for your eyes. No vitamin A at all. So, but when you take them little, just a pinch, 1 spoon, 2 spoons, 3 spoons, it will not do any harm. Especially when you pair it with something like me now. When I try to when I'm craving for all those things, instead of going for it, I take the fermented tapioca powder, which we call garri here, and just add my dates powder there, and I add sea salt. Then by the time I turn it and I'm sipping it little by little, you notice that after some time that craving is going down and energy is already in the body. And by the time the energy is there, if I still feel I need more this thing, I can put cashew nut. If I still feel more protein, I can add peanuts inside it and continue. That is it. And gradually, that urge to take bread, biscuits, cakes, crackers, and all of that is gone. I can't believe that I can stay for 7 months, 8 months, and not take any of those things. You can achieve it. Some of you are still in the habit, take it small biscuits. It's very light. That's what I used to say. I used to say it then. I would say it's light. Light, which light? Something that is very acidic. Is it because it's dried and light? It doesn't have nutrients. You should eat nutrient-dense food as we get older. It doesn't have nutrient that can build your body. It only contains those things that goes in and they settle as acids. That's exactly what we're saying. They settle like acid. So we don't have to, continue to allow acids like that through the foods we are eating. So we will be, as a matter of fact, I'm going to continue tomorrow. I'm going to continue tomorrow, and I would like you to be dropping your questions. Drop your question, the question that you want me attend to when you are present here. Something that you are worried about, that you want to take back your health. You want to recover through natural foods. You are tired of all those medications every day. You need to subscribe to this channel, because I share the real things that are working for me. That's what I share on this very, very channel. Share what is working for me. Those things that are helping me to stay healthy from January to December without all those medications here and there. It is uncommon to see a woman of 60 or a man of 60 or 61, 62 who is not on medication. I'm not saying there are no people like that. There are, but there are not many. The ones that are in the majority are those that are on medications. And those things that most people are managing are things that we can eat natural foods to stop it. Almost a good number of time, if it's not high blood sugar, it's diabetes. It is a high blood pressure, two of them, or frequent infections. These are majorly what a good number of older adults are going through, and it's not something that is not reversible. I have had occasion myself to reverse blood sugar some time ago. My own blood sugar was running as high as 160, 150. And I took it down to where it is now. Always below 90, below 100 in the month of fasting. But that is not to say that I'm still not mindful of those foods. Okay, you are suggesting something. You make a lot of sense, my dear. I love that your comment, that you would like me to talk of what we should take this Christmas. Yes, based on what I myself will be taking, because what I'll be taking this Christmas is exactly what I'll be sharing also with all of us. You don't need to go. Some of you are going to buy things for Christmas, buying cartons of drinks, buying your biscuits, buying your boo-boo and all those, whatever, all those processed foods, to eat foods. Some people have bought them for Christmas and the New Year and stocked them inside their fridge. And after the Christmas, a lot of people say they're having too much mucus in their throat, they're having excess salivary, they're having pains in their joint. It's what you eat. Grace of God. Thank you for that direction. Yes, you're helping me. In addition to what I was thinking to talk, I will come and talk a little and then focus on what, because Christmas and New Year is just around the corner. That is the 25th of December. And today is already 20th. So 21st, I'll be here about the same time to talk about what you should be. And not just what you should take, but what are the very simple things that are not expensive. Because in this part of the world, things are very costly now. So how we can make a good budget for our family, healthy budget, how we can prepare non-acidic foods, non-inflammatory foods, healing foods for our family, and then drinks that we can make. Not only the popular ones we know, but there are some other ones. It's not because some of when we talk of drinks, our mind just go to Zobo or hibiscus flower tea. Yes, it's good, but there are a couple of other drinks that we can make at home. Other healthy foods we can have this season without building up acid, because most times after the holiday, after the Christmas holiday, the next thing you come and see is a lot of people are complaining of sickness. A lot of people are complaining, and most of these sickness that are complaining of are because of acid, excess rice, fried stew, fried chicken. Some people will tell you that they can't eat chicken unless it is fried. So they go ahead and continue to eat the chicken. Some are celebrating birthdays. They go and they see cake. They will not hold themselves. They must eat the cake. As for me, if you're over 60, don't go for cake. If you're even very close to 60, don't go for those sugary cakes. Those sugary cakes, birthday cakes, highly acidic. Don't go for them. Whether it's high blood sugar, high blood pressure. If you don't even have any of them, don't invite them by eating the wrong foods. Because during the Christmas and the New Year season, during holidays, that's when the hospitals, after the celebration, hospitals are full. Medical centers are full because of the food that people ate during that period. Yes, because of what they ate, the type of food. All those acidic oils, they pack and stock them and be using it to cook. All those canned beans, canned salad, a lot of canned, even canned mayonnaise, canned everything. A lot of them are acidic. If you want to mix, don't go and buy the ready-made whatever mayonnaise. You can make your own at home. All these things. You can make your own. Make your own salad ingredients if you want to make salad. You can make them at home. The recipes are there if you want to. Because me, I don't like all those sticky foods anymore during the Christmas. What I prefer to take is if I just take a little of the chicken and then find something to drink, or take it with some cabbage, carrot, and the rest of it to join it together. And that's all for that. In fact, for a couple of days. Because what makes people sick is after eating it today, having your chicken today, tomorrow again, when others are going for the chicken, you say they should serve you also. You think your digestive health and one of the children are the same thing. No. The children can have the chicken in the morning. In the afternoon, they eat it again. Even in the evening, if the chicken is left, they will still eat it. But not for you and I. We can no longer eat like that. One main meal that is rich in protein and vegetables, you are good to go. As a matter of fact, I'll give you one more habit now before rounding up. And that is the fact that the number of times I eat a day, I've reduced it. Yes, maybe that one will come to you as a surprise. One main meal is okay. The rest should be light. Then at most 2. Yes, the rest of the meal should be light. Don't take, because before now, if I eat, I'll eat in the afternoon, eat 3 times, sometimes 4 times a day. But I tell you, the older we get, the less and less food we should be eating. That's what I'm trying to learn. That one habit, some of us will love food a lot, and especially older adults. It happened that by the time you have the time to eat this food, this money that we are working for, by the time you now want to settle and be eating it, your body doesn't need much food any longer. I made a short clip some time ago, I think on my page here, I don't know, where I said that a lot of old people, what kills them is food, not hunger. I know what I made. I dropped that message because I myself, as I'm talking, I know what long throat has done to me, self. What I call long throat. You know, after I've had, I've had a normal meal, midday. In the evening, like, my body is saying, you don't want any more food. Like last night, for instance, I didn't eat any. I just drank something liquid, no milk. Before, if I take something, I won't sleep. But I took it because I've eaten well by 3:30 in the afternoon, 3 o'clock, 3:30. And then in the night, I didn't have to eat anything. I just made my sorghum tea with ginger. I didn't even have to add dates because I ate very well in the afternoon. And so each time I eat very well in the afternoon, that's all for the day. In the past, I will still eat again. Some people say they are suffering from ulcer. It's not ulcer, it's acid most of the time. I have had ulcer before. Yes, I had ulcer before. And then after you eat that food, you now in the evening, you now eat another heavy food. You're creating excess load for the body. And a lot of people, what they're even calling ulcer is not it. They give themselves all kinds of diagnoses about ulcer. Ulcer, most times, is innocent of all of this. Ate too much food. Now they worry old people. Our body can no longer take too much, but we still want to eat because it's now that we even have the time. We even have the food. But then, the body to be absorbing and digesting it, we don't no longer have it. It's no longer in our favor. The more you eat, as another ad, the more likely you'll be sick. So, let's eat less. All of us, talking to you, talking to myself, let's eat less. Sometimes you can skip the dinner. What I'm saying, skip heavy meal for the dinner. If you've had your dinner around 3:34, it's okay. You can try it. If you have not had it, latest 4, 5, 6, you've had your dinner. That's what I do. If you are going somewhere, if I'm going somewhere and I know I won't be back on time, I will make sure that I eat before 6 p.m. Later 7, let's just put it 7. If you've rested and the body is ready for digestion, you've not given it anything since, 7 is still okay. But like what happened to me, which I already shared with us, that made me sick. Suffer pain to the point of even taking some one dose of analgesic. It's because of not managing stress. Eating late. Eating because I felt it getting late. So that is it. You don't have to. You don't have to force yourself to eat more than the capacity that your body can carry. That is one of the habits. I'm trying to learn it because we love food a lot. We love to eat. And so once the food is available, we just want to eat. But let's resist the temptation. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm really, really doing it. Not I'm trying to do. It's the new latest habit that I'm bringing into the other habits is avoiding the food, even when it's very tempting. Yes, avoiding it. After I've had the main meal, any other food that comes in, it's no to eat. Can wait till tomorrow. If the food want to waste, let it waste. Because the problem that women have, all of us, we are trying to avoid the food from wasting. We say, no, we don't want it to waste. And so, is that why we should be sick? Because the food shouldn't waste. Let it waste. Instead of my body, my health to waste, let the food waste. That's what I do now. Let it waste, let it spoil. Because women, we are very good at saying the food shouldn't spoil. Let it spoil. That's what I'm doing now. So once it gets to that point, say, this food shouldn't spoil. I say, my dear, let that food spoil. I would rather have the food spoil than to have my health spoil. That's one of my latest habits now. Because I've learned some lessons. Women, you should take note of this. All of you women that always say you don't want food to spoil, even when the food is risk your health, you will still take it and even eat it. Let it be in your stomach instead of being in the pot. Come on, I don't eat it. Let it remain in the pot. Let it remain in my stomach. That is what many women are doing. And that is one of the reasons why many women are even fatter than the men. Yes, because we don't want food to spoil, we don't want food to waste, so we carry the food and eat it. Stop it. It's a bad habit. That's why we tend to have more obese women, to me, than men, because men are not in charge of the kitchen. Although some men are very, very good for kitchen. Some men too, they sabi the kitchen matter pass women, pass their wives. I'm talking from experience. So not all the women know. Some women, they know the mind. Some of these spoil themselves, now the men, some men, but a few of them are in the door. If you keep it, say it will spoil, the man will go there, go to the kitchen and put it inside his stomach so that it will not spoil. Any food, leftover food, even as we are going to this Christmas season, I'll talk about it tomorrow. Any leftover food that you must eat and be sick because you don't want to spoil, leave that food to spoil. If not the one that want to waste, let it waste. But you do not have to waste any food. Measure the quantity that you can eat. Don't cook excess. Don't cook excess and then be looking for where to put it. There's no light in most places now. Even if you have light in your area, where you live, in Nigeria, most places, you can't guarantee that the light will serve the next day. That's what I do. Apart from that, fuel itself. You know what I'm saying. You know it. Don't say you heard it from me. You know it. So let's prepare the ones that we can eat. That's what I do. Don't be the one that I will force myself to go and eat and say it will spoil. If that one, even if it's one large sweet potatoes or even anything that wants to spoil, that's my new habit. Let it go ahead and spoil. I will not eat it because I want to save it. I'd rather save myself than trying to consume food in order not to waste it or to let it to spoil. So that is the tip. We should always learn new things. Learn to eat new foods. I try it. It is common to want to remain with the old food you eat, eban soup, bread and tea, rice and beans. Nothing more, anything short of this. Some people know they go there. I'm trying to learn new things, and that's why just a few days ago now I started to take this crushed turmeric with oats. I wasn't taking it before, but when I thought that the turmeric is anti-inflammatory and I tasted it, combined, it was good. I started to eat it too. Before now, I normally mix my oats with cocoa and sometimes soya beans, but you can see that two of them are heavier. But the what's it called? The turmeric and ginger that I add, especially fresh turmeric, makes it lighter because of their anti-inflammatory nature. That before, if you want to add the soya beans, it becomes heavier because the older we get, the more we are avoiding food that are heavy and weightier. Anybody that is at 60s will know what I'm talking. You always want to avoid food that are heavy, foods that are weighty, food that will put more weight on you, foods that are inflammatory. That's how they are. Now, each time I used to take it, I add soya beans more. And the soya beans is inflammatory, we know. And it makes it even heavy. Then I'll add dates. Sometimes I will now add cocoa, the bitter cocoa. It becomes even, in fact, sometimes it will be so heavy that I have to throw it away. Like I told you, say if the thing want to waste, let it waste. Yes, sometimes I will prepare something to eat. Guess what? I'll go and throw it away. Pardon me for that. Usually the food is not usually small. It's not good to throw away food. But I told you that the new habit I've learned is I'd rather throw it away than to eat it and be sick. I'd rather throw that food away than I'd rather have it wasted than to eat it and then feel sick. That's the latest habit that I'm practicing, and it's working for me. Like a few days ago now, I told you, I prepared my oats. I don't take it every day, maybe twice a week. After preparing it, I add soya beans powder, I add cocoa. I felt, after tasting it, I said, this one too heavy. That was it. I no eat them. I didn't eat it again. If it were before, I must eat it for the sake of saving it from spoiling. For the sake of avoiding waste, I will eat it. Say, no, I will eat this thing. No, this thing can't just waste away. This thing can't just go. All this food like this, can I just throw it away? My dear, you see these days, I dey throw away. I will throw it, wash it, so that I will not be seeing it. Because if you are seeing it, sometimes you say, things are expensive. How do I throw it? You don't go and eat it. Then after eating it, after some time, stomach start boiling and talking. So maybe you may need medication or something. Even if you don't take medication, but the stress that stomach gas and whatever is going to give you, it will have been better for you that you let that food go. That is why I said it's one of my latest habits now. If the food want to waste, it should waste, because that compassion towards food not to waste, I've overcome it, and I'm overcoming it, and it's a good habit. It's a good habit. The habit of trying to eat the food, whether it's okay to eat it or not, just because it won't spoil, it's not a good habit. So we stay off that one. So this time around, when you are preparing your food, you know how you prepare it. The way you prepare it matters. I don't fry my food. It's a habit. I don't fry anything. Whether it's plantain, no. Don't fry anything in my house. And whether it's chicken, I don't fry it. I stopped frying more than 16 or 15 years ago. More than 16 years ago. Like precisely 15 years ago. To be precise. Yes, I stopped frying food. Frying something. I've stopped frying it. When I put the food, I put oil, put tomatoes, put everything, and it tastes wonderfully great. Because before now, of course, I was thinking that you can't prepare your food without frying it. That's what I was thinking, that you can't prepare your food without frying it. But now I know that you can prepare your food. You can prepare your food and it will taste nice, and yet you didn't fry it. That's exactly what we are saying. So, and that's what I'm doing. I don't fry anything. It's a habit. Doesn't matter what it is. I don't fry it. It's either I cook it or I steam it. That's it. The next is to bake it. I know they fry, or use sun to dry it. I know they fry anything, because frying makes it very hard to digest. It helps you to clog the liver, to clog the arteries when you fry the food. It's not the healthy way. There are healthier ways to prepare food, which I normally make use of. I don't like to fry the food, because when the food is fried, it becomes more difficult to digest. So that is about that. And we shall be drawing the curtain at this point in time. Remember that you must continue. You don't have to, try to keep doing the same thing the same way in your body, and then you'll be expecting a different result. Remember to subscribe to this channel so that anytime I'm here, you'll be notified. Thank you for coming. See you again. Keep staying. Remember tomorrow to be here also. Keep staying healthy naturally. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.